What's up, Doggles? It's Trent, aka TradeMark here. And Jay Nasty did a video a couple of days ago about what makes a good Call of Duty player. And while I agreed with what he said, he kind of sounded like an arrogant douchebag in the process. So I wanted to talk about the same topic with my subscribers, but kind of word it in my own way. Essentially, I want to talk about what is skill in Call of Duty. And in my opinion, skill in any competitive event, whether it's a sport like football or whether it's a video game like Call of Duty, skill can be summarized by a person's physical, mental, and emotional strength. Now, the individual aspects of each of these areas that needs to be developed does differ from sport to sport, but let's talk specifically about which areas of skill a Call of Duty player can utilize. So first off, you have physical skill, your physical strengths, and when it comes to physical strength in Call of Duty, obviously you don't need to be like physically muscular. Like, do you even lift, bro? Come on, dog. Yeah. Like, you don't need to be muscular to be good at Call of Duty, but you do need physical skill. You need to have controller skill, how well you can aim at the enemy players, how good your player input is, how fast you can jump and jump shot and go prone, and just control your character. Also, your reflexes are part of physical skill. Your eyesight. Obviously, someone with perfect vision is going to be better than someone with really poor vision. And also, communication kind of falls into physical skill. Because Call of Duty is a team-based game, if you're playing a team-based game type, then you're going to need to communicate and learn how to talk with your teammates about what's going on. But that is physical skill, and basically the different strengths that exist under physical skill. Next of all, we want to talk about mental skill, and this is basically your mental strengths, and that has to do with game knowledge. And game knowledge is this huge encompassing thing. Game knowledge is basically all of the information about the game. It's knowing all of the maps and the layouts of the maps and where the spawn points are and where it's knowing all of the routes and where you can run and where the head glitches are and where the nade spots are, and it's knowing the gun stats on the guns and which gun is going to outgun which gun at which distance, and it's knowing the perks and the score streaks and how to counter what the enemy team might be doing. For example, if the enemy team puts down a sentry gun on capture the flag, it's beneficial if you already had a class with engineer and EMP grenades already set up so that you can counter their score streak. And that's just game knowledge. And game knowledge can be achieved through just playing the game, or through watching YouTube videos, or through reading guides online. There's plenty of sources for obtaining game knowledge. Next of all, mental strength also has to deal with map awareness. And map awareness is not just knowing the layout of the map. Map awareness is absorbing all of the information that you're being given around the map. So it's absorbing the information about where your teammates are at and where the enemies are at, and where the enemies are going to spawn and where you're going to spawn according to where you're pushing or where the enemy is pushing. It's being aware of all the sounds around you. It's soaking in your footsteps and the gunshots and the grenades, and processing that information in a way to figure out what's going on. Map awareness has to do with your radar, your mini map. It's all everything that you see. It's absorbing all of the audio and visual information that you're receiving from the game at any given time. And then finally, mental strength also has to do with your ability to plan and strategize. And so, like, Planning and strategy really takes place more often in organized team play and also in high risk reward game types like search and destroy. Search and destroy, pretty much all professional teams have a whole bunch of strategies that they practice. And it's more than just creating a strategy, it's also being able to adapt your strategy, because it's not always going to go according to plan. Let's say that you send a sniper out on search and destroy to go pick off a player and you end up getting sniped instead. Well, now it's 3v4 and you need to adapt your strategy. You need to come up with a new plan or a way to change your plan in a way that will still hopefully allow you to win. So, it's all of those things encompassing all of those things into one thing. And a lot of times, a mentally strong player is the player on the team which calls the shots. They're the playmaker because they have all the knowledge about the game and the awareness, etc. And then finally, you have emotional skill and emotional strengths, and this is kind of an overlooked aspect of skill, but it's still very important. And some of the things that exist within emotional skill is things like influence. Influence is huge. Influence is your ability to affect the players around you, both your teammates and the enemies. Influence is how well you can build your teammate up. It's being a leader. It's motivating your team to play well. It's keeping them, communicating, keeping them, making sure that everyone's positive. And on the same way, it's also trying to influence the enemies negatively. If you can tear down their spirit, if you can humiliate them, if you can make them feel like they're going to give up hope, they're going to play worse. And so a lot of times in pro tournaments, you'll hear people talk about, commentators use the word hype man. And this is essentially what a hype man is. It's someone that's emotionally charged. It's someone that is able to affect and influence his teammates and the enemy players in a way that benefits their team. That's influence. Next of all, you have resolve, and your resolve is essentially your ability to forget about your mistakes. Like if you make a mistake, it's good to learn from that mistake, but then you need to immediately forget about it and put it behind you. Because if you keep dwelling on your mistakes and it's likely that you'll spiral and you'll make even more mistakes. So your resolve is your ability to just forget about the bad that just happened and reset, come back to square one, just recenter and refocus and say, okay, I made a mistake, but I'm gonna get back on track right now. Next of all, you have reliability, and reliability is basically your consistency in game. How consistent of a player are you? You might not be the best physical or mental player on your team, but if you are consistent, if you can just consistently produce all the time, you're very reliable. That is important for people. Teams do not like streaky players that perform amazing one game and then just trash the next. They like consistency, and that's consistency, reliability, kind of the same thing. And then finally, in emotional, you also have instinct, and instinct is just kind of its own thing, but it's basically a player's ability to feel what is going on in the game. It's that feeling that you think someone might be around that corner. It's a feeling that you think someone might be coming behind you. And instinctual plays are sometimes some of the coolest plays in the game. If someone shoots someone through a wall or makes an incredible random grenade that they just have a feeling someone's going to be somewhere at some point. And literally people can get to the point where they just feel what the enemy team is going to be doing and they react upon that. And really emotionally driven players, a lot of times they have this high risk, high reward play style where they just kind of play based upon feeling. And sometimes that can really hurt the team because they make a lot of mistakes just guessing well, it's not guessing, it's just having a feeling of what's going on. But a lot of times it can be high reward as well. So those are the three areas that comprise, in my opinion, a COD player's skill. You have physical, emotional, and mental. But these areas are rarely balanced. And what I mean by that is, as humans, we inherently have our own strengths and weaknesses. So a player might be extremely physically skilled. They might have great aim and reflexes, but they lack map awareness and planning. And no matter how skilled you are, if you run into a room full of 3 enemy players, you're most likely going to die. Or maybe a player is very mentally strong. You could have a lot of game knowledge and map awareness and solid planning and strategy, but perhaps you are emotionally weak. Maybe you crack under pressure and you don't perform well in front of an audience or when there's pressure. Maybe a player is emotionally strong and they're a great leader and they motivate their teammates and they're always consistent. Like I said before, maybe they're not the strongest physically or mentally, but they're consistent and they have great resolve. So now that I've defined skill, in Call of Duty, the next question that often arises is, what achievements take skill in Call of Duty, right? Does it take skill to pub stomp? Does it take skill to get into the Masters division in league play? Does it take skill to win a lone wolf operation? Does it take skill to win a game battles tournament or an MLG event? And the answer to all of these is yes. Every single one of those things takes skill. Okay? But again, which aspects of skill they require is dependent upon what you're trying to achieve. For example, if you want to get 100 plus gameplay, all you really need is a team that communicates, that has some game knowledge and map awareness, right? I mean, you push the enemy back and you put them into a spawn trap. You pick enemy players off until you get a VSAT, and then you call in your VSAT, you get your dogs, you get your swarm, and then you just sit there, really, and you just spawn kill the enemy while you cycle your score streaks. And, it does take skill to get that 100 plus or a nuclear. But the reason that people sometimes look down upon gameplays like this is that there are some factors that play a part in your success that are entirely random, like the skill level of the enemy team or your connection to the host. In order to get more than 100 kills in a game or get a nuclear, you have to be playing against players that are inferior to you. Right? Like, even the best COD players in the world would be unable to get 100 kills if they're playing against players of a similar skill level. And, it's also convenient to have a good connection to the host. I have seen a lot of really good players that post great scores, even on bad connections, but it's definitely easier to do when you're not lagging. So, these random factors are what make pub stomping an inconsistent measure of skill. And I will put one caveat on that statement, though. I would say that the best way to show that you're a skilled pub stomper is to be consistent. Because I respect gameplay streamers, people that live stream, a lot more than gameplay YouTube channels. Because streamers show you consistency, right? Like, if you dominate every team you play against for hours on end, it's much more impressive to do that than to post the 1 in a million game that you got put into where the entire enemy team was playing with their feet and they were willing to die 50 to 100 times in one game and only get a couple kills, the entire time. Like, it was more about the enemy team than your skill. And, if you play solo and you still dominate, then you show an even greater ability to carry teams and pub stomp the enemy. But, my point is that consistency is a better way of showcasing skill. And then last of all, playing players of a similar skill level as yourself is really the only way to test your skill as a whole. In a team-based competitive setting, all aspects of your physical, mental, and emotional strengths are tests. Like, lately I've been practicing 4v4 MLG settings to get ready for the COD Showdown, which, by the way, is tomorrow. Saturday, July 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I'll put some links in the description for more information about that. But that's the 4v4 YouTuber tournament thing, MLG rules. And I'm excited to play in it because there's a lot of really good players in the showdown, and I've gotten better just practicing against them. But it has reminded me of all my weaknesses as a player. Like, I readily admit that I'm not a smart player. You know, I rely heavily on my physical skill. I have really good aim and reflexes, and a lot of times I put myself into a bad position, you know, because I purely relied on my physical skill for too long. But I'm using these matches as kind of a learning experience for myself so that I can be, you know, a more mentally strong player in the future. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you want to become a better or more skilled Call of Duty player, you need to identify your strengths and your weaknesses in regards to physical, mental, and emotional skill. And then you need to try and improve your weak areas or develop your strengths even further than they already are. But that's it for me, guys. Malo Alpito, thanks for watching, and I'm out of here.
Eliminate the objective.
I'm trying to go mid with bomb and see what happens.
Charges
I think they're dumb enough to not put some mid. Okay, fine.
Take it.
That's another kill.
I'm not going out that way.
Thunder
That
hard.
way is death.
Naden, he top laundry. Yes.
Building, Jacob, building.
Yeah, I saw him.
Let me go mid and help you with
Okay, one up. I'm just gonna plant.
Oh, what? He's mid. He's going to statue area.
On your feet.
Yeah, watch out. He's paying attention to the column. You should be able to hit him in the back. But I wouldn't test it.
The bomb has been planted.
He's gonna be heading your way, TradeMark. Watch out.
We don't have to watch bombs. I got a trophy on it. If he goes for the defuse, it's gonna break the trophy. And it's anyways.
Mission, you're all
TradeMark
that
safe.
remains.
Okay.
Someone. Okay, that's really weird.
Our target finders banned. Our LMG's banned.
I hope so.
LMGs are banned.
Once they're pulling that shit out.
Switching operation ready point.
LMGs are banned, and target
Search and
finders are not
destroy.
banned, though. You can use a
Are you
target
serious?
finder.
What kind of retarded ass shit are we
Protect the
playing?
The
objectives.
G-Finny rules. Basically EU rules. I don't know why.
Clear.
They,
Mid.
hang on, I got the.
There's a lot statue side.
Alright, I'm trying to come across. Give me a sec. Got one.
Two up.
One's right around the corner.
Killed his trophy system, so it pissed him off. He chucked a grenade at me when I did it.
I got bombed down by me. He's going gym, yep.
He's dying is what he's
Good
doing.
job. Get ready for the next round.
There is business.
Switching sides. Search and destroy.
Me.
Yeah, it's no A, so
Neutralize
it's
the
pushing after
objectives.
the open and calling yourself Chopper.
Bomb acquired.
Well, watch out mid, because it could be
I
sniper.
thought you were gonna call in all your big streaks.
Stealth chopper inbound.
Jesus. Thank you.
Pushing your location.
Building.
Over.
Whoever's over there, you're about to get shot at B. He's in that building looking down.
He was
sensors
hiding in the
capture your
bush
target.
with his target
That's
finder
really
side of type 25. Bullshit.
Alright, hold up. TradeMark, you got your shit coming in? Alright. No, that guy's an ass anyway. He's always
Just plan
there.
and make him push you guys.
I don't have a sentry or anything for it. I'm
It's
gonna have
too
to sit over and
close.
watch
Fight
it like
harder.
a goober.
Bomb is armed.
Nemesis 1-1 in from west. 10 seconds.
You should just lie down at the
Did you just
rock
say
and
you're
wait
gonna
for
go
the guy to...
jungle?
Our sensors
should all pull back, lie on the rocks, and wait for him to try to ninja defuse and then blow him up with a lightning strike.
Friendly lightning strike inbound.
Negative effects.
Achilles 1-1 is RTB.
7.5 defuse, so.
Just
JJ!
think so.
Operation
Not our
complete.
fault
Nice
he's dead.
job, Grunt.